Adrian, you are on the front lines of this fight. I wonder what stood out for you from Biden's speech and just the visual of 58 years later continuing to be in this fight.
First, thank you for having me. And what stood out was, just as you mentioned, we're still in this fight. There are still Americans out there who will call themselves patriots, but would work to deny their fellow Americans the right to vote. There are still people out there who claim the mantle of American and will put their own political party above their fellow countrymen's fundamental right, a right that people here in the United States died for, a right that we sent Americans overseas to fight and die for many times. This is an incredible thing, and it's really tragic that we still have to face this sort of a battle, but here we are. And I'm proud to continue this fight, and I'm very, very sad that we have to.
And a big part of that fight is happening in your state and in states across this country. Arizona among the dozens of states trying to make voting more difficult, which feels like having learned the wrong lesson. Talk to us about some of the potential restrictions you could be looking at.
Well, many of the potential restrictions we might be looking at are sort of the same sorts of things that we've seen for a long time, reducing access, increasing the restrictions across the board in a variety of different forms. But we aren't, as a state, completely in the dark. We have a lot of hope. Our coalition of folks who came from all sides of politics, Republicans, independents, and Democrats alike, rejected a lot of the candidates who would, at least at the executive level, have pushed this sort of agenda forward, or who would have at least stood by complacently as those deniers would push their plans. So Arizona, like so many places across the United States of America, really pushed back. Our voters pushed back. Our Republican voters pushed back. Independent voters pushed back. And Democrats, of course, pushed back against this sort of nonsense. And thankfully, we are still engaged in that battle.
Part of that battle, of course, protecting election workers. Your new AG is strengthening those protections, telling The Guardian, quote, "Our democracy depends on the ability of good people to step forward and serve as election officials." What does that then mean, Secretary, for your work?
Well, first and foremost, it's incredibly important that Arizona Attorney General Kris Mayes pushes that forward. I have advocated for strengthening federal and state penalties against threats of violence against our election workers. Because these are just regular people like you and me. There are neighbors, there are aunts and uncles, retirees, folks who just want to help. In fact, I had a fellow veteran, although he was in the Navy, I'm a Marine Corps veteran, ask me today, how do I help? I really want to jump in and help. These are the kinds of folks who need to be protected because they want to protect our democracy. They just want to serve. And the fact that we've gotten to the place where we actually have to talk about a state attorney general working against people who are threatening election workers in this country means we've still got a long way to go. But I have hope. I have a lot of hope because there's a lot of good people, in spite of our big losses, because we've lost a lot of experienced election professionals in Arizona and across the nation. But in spite of that, good folks are stepping up. And I would encourage folks who want to perpetuate this republic and the democracy that supports it, step up, come on out, talk to your local election officials, talk to your secretaries of state. We need help. We need folks who are willing to engage in this on the ground and help your fellow citizens vote.
Secretary, I have less than a minute left, but I got to ask for your reaction to Kari Lake winning the CPAC straw poll for GOP VP nominee, and the fact that she has not backed off any of the lies that she touted during her race for governor in Arizona.
I'm sorry, who are you talking about? I don't know anybody of relevance in Arizona named Kari Lake.
Well, Mariah Carey, thank you so much for that important reference. Secretary Fontes, as always, I appreciate your time and your expertise.